Hey friend, well, coming up in this episode is part 2 of a 2-part conversation that I had with my girl Latrice. Honey, in episode 1 we covered so much, but we didn't even scratch the surface. In this episode, we really get into Latrice's perspective about dating. We talk about the moment she's kind of got caught up in situations that she wasn't necessarily happy about. Girl, we even talked about how Latrice said, I might just be fine being single if a couple of things are in place. We talk about so much. And don't forget, I really want to know your perspective. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to know your questions. So make sure you are following Latrice on her Instagram, which is Theatrical Pace. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. That's Robin May Online. DM us, let us know your takeaway, and share this podcast. Go ahead right now. Go ahead and share it with your people. Say, you got to listen to this, because I pray we are handling this situation with grace and with gentleness and with understanding and all the therapeutic words I want to throw out there. But I truly want this to be a safe space for all of us. So go ahead, let's check out part 2 of my conversation with my girl. Hey friend, I'm Robin May, and a few of the professional hats that I wear includes being a transformational speaker, a life coach, and a licensed therapist. And personally, well, I'm a wife, a mommy to 3 girls, and a pastor's wife, just to name a few. Girl, I'm over here doing all the things while trying to stay in shape and keep my skin clear. But the truth is, I don't want to be known for being busy. I think that's a scheme that somebody set up. No, I want to be known for living a life that is in perfect alignment with what God intended. And I want to help you do the same. So it's with that in mind, I'd like to welcome you right here to Intentional Conversations with Robin May and friends. Over here, we're creating a safe space to have real conversations with real women on real topics. This is a judgment-free zone where we can be vulnerable and honest and curious about our lives so that we can elevate not just what we do, but who we are. So if any of that resonates with you, again, welcome to our safe space. This is Intentional Conversations with Robin May and friends. What dating looks like in your 20s is different than what it looks like in your
Very
40s.
different.
And I think when you're in your late 30s, 40s, and beyond,
Yes.
and you're not married, you need to have some time where you just kind of enjoying life. So what does that look like?
That was exactly what I did in my 40s. I was like, let's play. And I was dating this guy who was a touring musician, and we just had fun. We just enjoyed one another's company.
And you knew it wasn't going to be anything?
I knew it, but yet and still I was hoping, you know what? He's gonna fall for it. We gonna get serious at some point, but let's just have fun playing. But he's gonna get serious at some point.
See, I love that realness, because I think that there's a part of if we want to be married and we meet somebody that we enjoy their company, I think it's unrealistic to say you're not even considering that there's nowhere on your mind that he's gonna. So you did have it out there floating.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We always feel like, let them do what they're gonna do, but it's something about me that's going to change them.
Latrice she didn't even realize she just set fire, because in my work with women and with my single girlfriends, let me just say this, and I talked about this in episode 1, but my single girlfriends are so sick of me. They don't like to bring their guy friends around me. My sister tells me she doesn't bring, it's not because I'm some guru. I've just been doing this work for 17 years, and I can just see things before they are fully manifested. And so what I hear from women often is that undercurrent. A lot of times they don't say it out loud or directly, but it's an undercurrent. And you said, there's something special about me. So tell me about that. Tell me what you have discovered about that mindset.
That it's false. Mm-hmm. And it just leads to disappointment after disappointment. Mm-hmm. At some point, you have to be honest with yourself.
Yes.
And say, this person, and I don't want to just say he, but I'm saying he because I'm a woman, but this person, just to keep it general, they are who they are. Exactly. So I need to accept them for who they are, and I need to accept this for what it is.
For what it is.
And if it's not leading to what I want it to be, let's just go on and leave that alone.
Absolutely. We're going to have one of my girlfriends is going to come on and she's going to talk about her experience in a narcissistic relationship. And she's also
Oh.
a therapist, right? And so the conversation, I cannot wait for it. But one of the things that often how women, Latrice, can get caught up in a narcissistic relationship, and men can too, but we have found that most often it is a woman who gets caught up in that dynamic. One of the reasons is because of this term called love bombing, right? And the term love bombing is when someone who is a narcissist or who has narcissistic tendencies, because everybody doesn't rise to the level of a narcissist clinically, but they can have tendencies of narcissistic behavior. And I know that narcissism and gaslighting and those terms have become buzzwords, but it is very real in navigating relationships. And one of the things that happens with love bombing is that the person makes you think that you are the best thing ever and you are the sun that shines, and you are everything they've ever wanted. And watch this, because we all want to be a princess. We all want to be swept off of our feet. We all are looking for the knight in shining armor. You fall for it. And you're thinking, I am pretty amazing. Somebody finally realized it. And it kind of loops you into it.
Oh my God.
And then it's hard to get out of it because you're chasing that high. So when the behavior stops, you're thinking, we're going to get back to it. So I love the realization that I'm amazing, but I'm not amazing enough to change somebody's character.
Yeah.
And so you were playing. You had the season of life where you were playing.
Yeah.
And then how did that transition?
I got hurt because he ended up choosing someone else. And that is one of the regrets, probably very few regrets that I have, that I didn't walk away before then, because I ended up hurting him and the other person. And that's not me. But I was hurting, so I was going to hurt.
So at what point do you feel like so how long did you and this person, this was somebody you just was playing around?
About 7 years.
Baby, she's setting somebody free.
Yeah, about 7 years.
So at what point did you said, I wish I had stepped away earlier. At what point, like what were some of the indicators that let you know what, this may not be good?
There was one time, I think I'll go to the main time. That was when my mother became ill. And I knew that, again, I can't divide these energies. So I've been hanging out with you for these many years and we haven't gone anywhere yet. We're done. I need to focus on my mother because this is real life that's happening right here. And that was it.
Wow.
I walked away. Yeah.
So you walked, but was there a time before that?
Then?
Because you said, I wish I had walked away sooner.
Yeah, it was just a lot of the being absent, and there was one time where there was a ritual of ghosting. And then all of a sudden, hey, just checking on you. And something inside of me felt like, dang, I feel like I'm in a rotation. And I literally had to say that to him. I said, you know what? Take me off your rotation.
Latrice, you said it.
I said
it. Latrice, take me off of your rotation.
Yeah, because I felt like it was okay, let me check in on everybody. It was just the way the questions felt, the way you just feel it. Words are life and spirit. I felt the text. I felt it in the text. Like, I'm not the only one getting this message. So I just said, I was like, you know what? I'm good. You don't have to check in on me. I got me.
But that took some strength. Like, it takes strength. So, okay. So what did you have? What do you believe you had inside that had the strength to say, take me off the rotation? Because you still could have been in the pick me.
Yeah. I think after a while, you enjoy playing, but when you get hurt on the playground, it's like, you know what? I'm good. I'm leaving the playground. And there's something in you, even though you told yourself you're playing and thinking this is going to get serious, it's not. You know when it's not. It's like, you know what? I want something else. I want something better.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's pause here for just a minute because I want to remind you all, I talked about this earlier but I am releasing my book, Before You Take His Name, A Christian Perspective to Saying I Do. You see right here, it says my copy if you're watching this online. It is called Before You Take His Name, A Christian Perspective to Saying I Do. I wrote this book almost 15 years ago.
Wow.
I can actually tell you, I wrote this book in 2008.
Wow.
And I had one daughter then. My husband and I were married. We had one daughter. And I am re-releasing this book. And I want you to get your copy when it is released. The pre-order is available starting now. Just go to robinmayonline.com/book. Robin, I know that's right. robinmayonline.com/book.
I need this.
To get your copy, to order your pre-copy, and the book will be released on March 15th officially, so everybody will have it by March 15th. Hey girl, I gotta jump in right here because I gave you the wrong website. In order to access Before You Take His Name, head over to robinmayonline.com/shop books, or on my Instagram, robinmayonline. You can click the link in my bio, robinmayonline.com/shop books. Okay, let's get back to the podcast. But what I wanted to do is flip to one of the questions that's in the book. I share 14 questions you should ask before you say I do. And that story Latrice just shared with us, it caused me to want to ask you one of the questions in the book. And I think I already know your answer to this. But let me flip to, I think this is on page 81. And it is this. The question is, before you take his name, questions you need to ask yourself. One of the questions is, have you observed his true character in action? Have you observed his true character in action? Because a lot of times we can say a thing, we can say what we're doing and who we are, but it's really our action. And so was that you observing his true character in action?
Absolutely. There was a time that I realized one of the guys I was dating, his temperament would change around the first part of the month.
Really?
Yeah. And that informed me that he stresses out when it's time to pay bills. It became a cycle, and I was like, oh, it's
but how, okay, girl, wait a minute, this is huge. How did you pinpoint it to the first, you just started, did you keep a calendar?
I didn't keep a calendar, but it was like, I'm always in deep thought, and I'm always analyzing things and picking things apart and trying to figure out the why. I'm always asking the why. So I started noticing that. And then when I thought maybe this is what it is, then I start paying close attention. I was like, oh,
so what other signs came up to let you know that that's what it was?
Just a short temperament, very agitated, stressed out, worried. It just, and then it was always like a transferring of that energy. And I was like, no, okay. So I picked it up. It was like, okay. It was always work, money. I got to do this, got to do this. I was like, okay. But then after that time, it was back to normal. I'm like, no.
So you already knew you weren't interested in that roller coaster.
No.
If I'm going to get on a roller coaster, it ain't going to be
that one. Or we need to talk about how to handle it a little better.
Absolutely.
I won't dismiss it just for that. But let's talk about, okay, this is what's going on. Let's talk it through. Let's deal with it. All right. And then let's move on. But don't give it to me like I didn't pay you or something. Like,
exactly. Okay. So we have gone from being married to going through a divorce to healing to playing around. Was there a time that you got into a this may be it relationship?
Yeah.
I asked, after you had you were divorced and then you said, in my 40s, I'm gonna kind of play around a little bit. Did you then get into a serious relationship?
I did. I did with an older gentleman. The playing arounds with, them 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
But
yes.
With an older gentleman because I wanted somebody older. Because I thought that meant more mature.
You thought?
I thought.
What'd you discover?
That men are just men. We are. Oh, I hate saying it.
I know. Okay, why did you pause when you said that?
Because I like taking responsibility and sharing that we all are just people. So people are just people, but I don't want to make it seem like all men are bad, but I was just gonna say men are men.
Yeah. So regardless of the age. So it's really not about age, it's about character, right? Okay. So what happened with that?
I felt like a secret.
Mm.
And in my playing days, I was a secret.
Wow, Latrice.
So when I made the decision, I was a secret for one. But when I made the decision that I wanted to leave the playground and I wanted something else, to be in a real relationship or serious relationship and still felt like a secret, that kept tearing something down in me and kept making me feel like I was still on the playground. Outside of that, you want to pause?
No, girl, that's just deep.
Outside of that, there were some insecurities, even though it was said, I'm a very secure man. I know who I am. But a lot of your behaviors, if we're at the beginning of this relationship and I have to prove myself, like I'm going to be faithful and I haven't given you a reason to not trust that, you have some insecurities.
Absolutely.
And because I had done so much individual work, I was able to pinpoint that and say, you know what? I can't afford any relapses.
Wait, what do you mean I can't afford any relapse? What do you mean by that?
I can't afford to, I had worked so much on my confidence and building that and realizing my worth. And I was going to therapy and I'm journaling and I'm trying to, I'm dissecting myself.
Yeah.
I had done a lot of work to get this joy and confidence that I'm not going to put myself in a situation that makes me question that.
Girl, it's so crazy. When you're saying that, I see a visual. It's like I saw a visual of like these doors. And as you've done this work, and so opening the door closer and closer, somebody having closer and closer access to you, their lack of work will infiltrate you.
Yes.
No matter how strong you are.
Yes.
So that's why you have to build relationship in stages.
Yes.
And so the closer he was getting to you, that's what I was seeing, the more you began to recognize, no, this could undo the work I've done.
Absolutely. Because it became so hard to communicate about the issues when you haven't, like one of my requirements is to have gone to therapy or actively be in therapy.
So one of her requirements, because one of the questions I'm going to definitely ask is when you think about the list of things that are a must-have or your line in the sand. I think I talked about this in episode 1, your line in the sand. Your line in the sand is the therapy.
Yeah, because I kept hitting these brick walls. And I'm trying to explain something, not about what you're doing wrong, but just about in general. And you can't see that because you haven't done any work.
Yes.
You're just in church or you're listening to sermons and you're thinking that it's getting handled and dealt with, but it's not, because you need to go to somebody to help you unpack why these actions are happening.
So in other words, for you as a Christian woman, someone loving Jesus is great.
Yeah.
But that's not enough.
It's not enough.
Because that's a big statement.
The other requirement is you have to be able to approach this relationship with and by faith. Because he kept wanting me to prove that I was going to be a good wife without making me a wife.
Okay, I didn't even want to get ahead. So I got some comments, and one of the comments, let me go to it because I'm gonna read it to you verbatim. This is so powerful. One of the comments said this. I asked people to give comments or questions, and one of the comments said, "Dating at 52 is hot flaming garbage." She says, "I give up." She said, "I'm not interested in dating in the drama that men of a certain age are wrapped in, right?" And she said, "I love myself enough to know better than to believe a bad man is better than no man." But this is also what she put in the comment, and I literally laughed out loud. Listen to this. This is my girl. Hey girl, I ain't gonna say her name because I don't know if she gave me permission to. She said, "I dated a guy who asked me why I never cooked for him. And she said, our last names don't match, sir. Carry on." So in other words, not that there's anything wrong with cooking for your man if you're not married, but it's to the point that you said that he kept wanting you to do things to prove. So have you experienced that? I'm looking at some other comments. Have you experienced that?
I did. And the reason why that's why I brought up the thing about therapy, because I kept trying to get him to understand, how am I going to prove to you that I'm going to be a good wife if I'm not your wife? Like I'm I had to tell him, okay, I've been married before.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the family issue. It was your
Wow.
family is first because I'm a single woman. I've shown you that I can make you a priority.
Yes.
But I'm not prioritizing you right now until we are in that space. You're just going to have faith and trust me.
So I asked you about lines in the sand, and you said therapy, and you said also having
approaching faith. This relationship with and by faith.
Yeah, that's Latrice. That's huge, and how you explained that.
Yeah.
And you're going to have faith
that I'm governed by Holy Spirit, and I know when to cut off my family and not allow it to affect my marriage, not just my relationship,
not my boyfriend,
but my fiance, my husband. My mother taught me well. I've been married before. Wow. So if you want a reference, I'll give you his name. I don't have his number. I'll give you his name.
Right.
And I'll let you talk to him.
That is huge. And so navigating these dating streets, you're finding that men are wanting you as a woman to show up as a wife when you're not making me wife.
You're not. Wow. And spending a few dollars on me doesn't merit that. It doesn't give you that assurance. And that's another thing. They feel like I have the money because that's what all women want. No.
Well, you do want the money, but that's not
all. Right, I want you to have a relationship with God. I want you to be a man of faith.
So let me ask you this. As a woman of faith, I'm finding that I have women that I work with who love Jesus, and there is no judgment. This is a conversation. I just want to hear her heart about it. What do you say to a woman, or what do you believe about a woman who's a woman of faith who is okay with dating someone who's not a person of faith? What do you feel about that?
It's dangerous. Mm-hmm. You're taking a chance. And I know people feel like life is a gamble, and some people are probably just at the point where, you know what, I'm willing to try it and see. Mm-hmm. But I think at a certain age, you make decisions for different reasons. Mm-hmm. And when you want a certain outcome, just make sure that choice or that decision is kind of realistically going to get you to that outcome. Absolutely. But when you're taking a chance like that, we take a chance with men of faith, but it's less of a chance.
Because everything is like, we don't know, everything is a chance, but you want to make sure, what I try to encourage women is that you want to make sure that you have enough of criteria criteria is the best word, mm-hmm. to lessen a negative outcome.
Those I hate to say checklists, but there are some, you should have a checklist.
You absolutely. Because listen, this is what I say. When we go buy a house, when we're looking for a house,
they gonna go through everything.
They're going through everything. Yes. So you're not gonna go through. And even when you're dreaming about your home, you're like, I want to have a full basement. Yes. I want to have a wraparound pool. So surely now, what you put on your list needs to be realistic, and you need to make sure you can honor the list that you create for somebody else. But I think that that's fair enough. Okay. So how did you decide? How long did you date this person, and how did you decide it's a wrap?
About 3 years.
Girl, you don't play. When you get in it, you are in it.
Yeah, I am. And to someone that has insecurity issues, you will never be able to convince them that I'm not cheating on you. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to cheat on you. And that I kept dealing with that, and I hadn't. So I'm mm-hmm. like, God, I can't do this. So what was the question again? I'm sorry.
How did you decide? How did you realize, it's time to wrap it up?
Life. Because I had given a lot of chances, but life started happening in a very serious way. Mm. With the death of my mom mm-hmm. and 2 of my sisters, I was like, okay, you're making me cry. And life is making me cry. So as much as I love you, I got to eliminate the thing I can control.
Latrice.
And I choose not to cry because of you.
Back to that list, how God gave you 2 columns.
Yeah.
What can I control and what can I control?
Yeah.
The serenity prayer.
Yeah.
So, have you dated seriously since?
No, because it's been really it's still fresh. I'm focused now on acting.
We're not going another 15 years though, Latrice.
It's not my choice to go another 15 years, but if I go another 15 years as a millionaire, I'll be okay.
We will be okay, honey. We will be.
It's
We'll
not
be okay.
it's not my choice, but I'll be okay.
We'll be okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's huge. So I have a couple more questions. There's so much. I want to ask you, how have you been able to, or maybe I should ask you like this, have you been able to maintain your self-worth while dating? Because I can imagine that the way the streets are, it can begin to eat away at your self-confidence. How have you been able to do that, or have you been able to?
Quickly eliminating anything that starts to chip away at that. And not think it's going to get better, especially if you've had conversations about it. I remember having to, and this is why therapy is so important. I remember having a conversation and saying, you know what, when you looked a certain way, when I asked, because this is a serious relationship, when you looked a certain way and stalled when I asked to borrow, not to have, when I asked to borrow some money because of a need that I had, it reminded me of how my dad made me feel, and how when I would ask him for money for incontinence things, just necessary things, that chipped away at my self-worth and made me say, you know what, I'm never asking anybody for anything. I'm going to work hard for what I need. So when an action, the man that I'm in a relationship reminds me of something my dad did, it's like, you know what, I'm going to tell you how this made me feel.
Give you an opportunity to course correct.
To correct. And if it's not, like, again, I can't afford to backpedal or negate the work I've put in for myself.
And you take that as your responsibility. So her responsibility to know those triggers.
Absolutely. And not regardless of how much I knew we were going to work, regardless of how much I knew we were on great paths with how we can build a future together and what we can do, the work I have put in, the tears I have cried, and the money I have spent for therapy, I can't toss that.
Y'all, this conversation has been phenomenal. I only have 2 more questions. I think I have 2 more, and I have kept my girl so long, so I'm gonna close.
I'm loving it though.
I only have 2 more questions, I think. Okay, so I want to share this theory that I have about relationships. Again, I talked about it in episode 1, but I have this theory of what's kind of happening. When I talk about Christian women, I'm talking about adult Christian women. So I'm talking about women, like, if you're 20 and you're watching this, yes, you are an adult. But I'm talking about those women who've lived a little bit longer, early 40s, late 40s, and beyond. I have this theory, and I'm fleshing it out. I almost want to write a book about it, but we'll see. But I work with a lot of single women and a lot of married couples. And what I have found is that women of a certain age, Latrice, are independent, INDEP, like they are independent.
True.
They have been raised to take care of business, to handle business. If you are late 40s or 50s and you are single, particularly if you've been single for a long time, you've been the one handling the business, taking care of everything. And I have found that there was a season where women were taught to be the boss, to be a boss, not the boss, but be a boss. Have your business, have your career, take care of the kids, okay? And we were trained to do that. But I don't believe that I believe that there is a section of men who were not trained on how to handle those women. They weren't equipped on how to handle the strong, independent woman. So now there's this clash of titans, right? And the man is saying, I want you to be submissive. And then you add to it women, watch this, and this may not be your case, but you add to it women who grew up in a matriarchal family, who saw women handling everything. So when a man says, I want you to submit, it's not that a woman doesn't want to. Most strong women want to take a deep breath.
Absolutely.
They want to have somebody who's going to handle it. I hate traveling without my husband. I hate it, Latrice, because I don't want to have to figure out anything.
When
I'm traveling with my husband's like, come on this way. Okay, here I come. Baby, we're going to do this. Okay, I'm going through this door. I don't like having to figure. So and I'm a very strong type A personality.
Me too.
So what has happened over the years in my marriage is my husband, because it wasn't like this at year 5.
Mm-hmm.
At year 22, he has taught me that I can trust him.
Mm-hmm.
He's taught me through consistency
Yes.
that I can take a deep breath.
Yes.
So my theory is that men, not all men, but there's a section of men who had a conflicted relationship with their mother, or they were overly praised by their mother. So either the mother, either the relationship is enmeshed with their mother, or their relationship is conflicted with their mother, and they are projecting those issues and expectations onto these women. So they're either wanting their woman to mother them, or to show up like their mother showed up. So,
wow.
What have you found when it comes to this expectation that men are having of you as a single woman? Are you finding that they're wanting, you kind of talked about this, that they're wanting you to be wifey before you're wifey, or they're having some kind of expectation of you that's unreasonable?
I think for me, what I've always experienced is that they put expectations on themselves when it comes to me.
Wow.
Because of who they assume I am, what I'm accustomed to, what I want, and what I like. So they already come in the door with that. And I'm like, I haven't even voiced anything.
That's why I said they may be intimidated.
And I don't understand why, but I have a friend I'm gonna actually call as soon as I get in the car and ask him.
Yes.
So I have experienced the boss chick thing. For me, I had to be honest with myself, because for so long I was like, I got me. I want to take care of me. I'm good. I'm not depending on you. At 51, I don't want to have me. I will.
And I can.
I can, but I don't want to. I want to. I don't know if I totally give in to the soft life thing. That's another buzz thing, because I feel like I've always been soft. I just step up to the plate when I have to. I don't want to have to think.
Girl,
I don't want to have to. I don't.
I love that. And I think that's really deep down. Even the most strong woman wants to have a soft space. They want to know that, not even a soft space, they want to be able to be soft, to your point. And to be in a, because see, you can step up to the plate. You've always been soft, but most of us don't take down that wall unless we feel safe.
Yes.
And so you want a safe space to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so somebody a man just happened to be scrolling by, and he knows that this podcast is for women, but he saw you and you're just so gorgeous, and he DMs me. And he says, Robin, who is that? What are some requirements, or what is on your list? What are some things that you're saying, somebody, this is what I need in a romantic relationship?
Okay, so I'm going to list the things that I am becoming or have become, so I can make those requirements. Again, approach the relationship with and by faith. Don't make any assumptions. Don't. What were we just saying? I don't want to say I don't have any criterias, but I'm not making any demands.
Okay.
And don't assume that you have to make a certain.
And so
amount
you say
a
month, like money, and that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I do want to feel secure with someone. Honestly, I'm not in the space where I'm gonna be able to help you build any dreams.
Latrice, tell me what you mean by that. I love it, but tell me what you mean.
Yeah, I'm not interested in dating potential. I'm just not at that space where it's like, you know what, we can build a life together. I'm literally at the second half of my life already.
At 51, you are at halftime. It's time to start talking about retirement in a couple of
absolutely.
Yes. So to see, but do you believe do you want him to be a man of faith? That's important.
Definitely a man of faith. In therapy, or have been to therapy, and self-aware. Just work. You've put in the work, or you're putting in the work. I think we can go from there if we have those foundations.
Absolutely. So are you okay with him having children? See, I made you pause, didn't I? Can he have children?
I did, because that was the issue in the last one. After almost 2 years of dating, the children didn't know about me.
Oh, ma'am, you should have. I don't know why you did not call me, because I would have said something about that, ma'am. But if you're dating somebody 45 or older, more than likely he's probably gonna have children.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I just need to know there are some healthy boundaries there with the children, you
Absolutely.
and the children, and even
Okay.
the ex or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
What if he's a pastor? Oh, did you take a deep breath?
I did, because he has to have some balance. Like,
Mm-hmm.
are you actively planning vacations?
Mm-hmm.
Is the church conference considered the vacation?
Ooh.
Um, are you willing to go somewhere every season? Like, I would like 4 vacations a year, and it doesn't have to be anything exclusive. It can be somewhere, Tybee Island, but just getting away from that church life every now and then to realize you do have a life outside of church.
Absolutely.
Not a life outside of God.
Yes.
A life outside of church.
Well, we might have stumbled upon somebody. If somebody out there can fit that description, we may have stumbled upon somebody. Y'all, Latrice, thank you so much. I have so enjoyed this conversation.
Me too, girl.
You are a gift.
Thank you.
You are a gift to the body. You're a gift to me. I love you so much. Listen, I hope this conversation has blessed you, baby. We have gone there. And you're probably watching part 2 of our 2-part episode, because we just talk like girlfriends do. Yeah. So I am so happy you've been here. Make sure you DM me any of your takeaways. Yes. If you haven't already, go on over to robinmayonline.com/book to pre-order your copy so that you can be the first to get your hands on this re-release. Make sure you follow Latrice. What is your Instagram?
Theatrical Pace, but just go to latricepace.com and it'll take you to everything.
To get everything about Latrice. And listen, if you got a friend, DM me about your friend and let me be the person to take through the screening questions.
Right, yes.
Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Well, girl, that's it for this episode. I already know you have at least one one takeaway that's going to help you continue to live intentionally, fully engaged. But before you go, girl, I have another opportunity for you to take your investment into you to the next level. Listen, you and I both know that there are some patterns that you have been dealing with for a long time. You and I both know that there's just something that you can't seem to identify that's keeping you from getting to the next level. Or maybe for you, girl, maybe this one is for you. Maybe things are good, but you just know they could be better, but you just don't quite know what the missing piece is. Well, after some prayerful consideration, I decided to offer to all of you what I'm calling bite-sized breakthroughs for busy women. Listen, girl, one of the things I hear all the time is, Robin, I just don't have the time. I truly want to get a PhD in me, but when in the world do I have the time? Well, I have you in mind with bite-sized breakthroughs for busy women. Listen, girl, this is your no excuse path to identifying what you need to understand so that you can see, experience, and curate the life you love. Bite-sized breakthroughs is your opportunity to discover what's necessary to push past what's stopping you, one aha at a time. This is a low investment, no risk opportunity for you. So stop what you're doing right now. Head on over to robinmayonline.com/breakthrough. robinmayonline.com/breakthrough. This one is for you.